everyone, and welcome to the latest video from Mamapreneur TV. I'm Erica and I'm the founder of Mamapreneur, and we're going to be diving in today to talk about setting up subdomain tracking through Google Analytics. And before we dive into the exact how-tos, I just want to give a couple examples as to why you would want to do this. So up on my screen right now, I have the Mamapreneur website, and I also have my academy hosted on a different subdomain. So it's at academy.mamapreneur.co, and this is actually managed and hosted by Teachable. So what we have here is we have two separate domains. We have the regular root domain, so mamapreneur.co, and then we have the academy. You see it a lot too if people have shops. So you might have your mainwebsite.com, and then you might have shop.mainwebsite.com. So there's a couple of different reasons why you would want to do this. Sometimes it's because you're using different tools. In my example, I'm using WordPress for the main site, Teachable for the academy. You might be using WordPress for your main site, but maybe you have a really elaborate store and, just WooCommerce isn't doing it for you, and you might want to use Shopify. So a couple of different reasons, but you still want to be able to track things across both domains, because I want to know if somebody clicks from Academy from this website, or I want to know if they get to registering for an e-course via a blog post. I want these to be linked, and I do want to see them as a holistic entity, especially for tracking of revenue. I'm going to dive in at the last bit of the tutorial to show you how you can actually separate the information in your Google Analytics. But for the point of this exercise, tracking across domains will actually group everything under one entity within Google Analytics. So we're going to pop over to starting on how to actually implement it across your domains, and then I'll end with how to set it up so that you can manage your tracking and reporting within Google Analytics. So what I have up on my screen right now is the Domain Central, where I can manage my domains. You can see here we have mamapreneur.co. And what I did in order to create the subdomain is simply click on subdomains, and I typed in what I wanted my subdomain to be. So this is going to be whatever word you want to put before the first period, and then the rest of your domain after. So in this case, it's going to be academy.mamapreneur.co. And for the time being, I'm just going to point it to the root directory, which is the top level directory indicated by the slash here. So you don't need to point it to a specific folder or directory or anything like that. Because I'm going to be pointing it to Teachable, what I did is over under DNS, and you simply modify the CNAME, and I added a CNAME record, which is Academy, which is what we put as our first part of our subdomain's URL, and then it's pointing to mamapreneur.teachable.com, which is the URL that you pick or that's assigned to you by Teachable. So that's all that I did over here. When I'll pop over to Teachable in a sec, but if you're not going to be directing it to another service like Teachable or Thinkific or anything like that, what you would do under the subdomain portion is you would point it to a subdirectory. So let's say you have your main website in the root, and then you have maybe store.yourwebsite.com, and then you'd create a folder on your hosting account, which would be store. And then you can pop everything in there, and that could be a completely new WordPress install as an example or something like that. You may want to point it to a Shopify URL. You can do a whole bunch of different things with it, but for my case, it was going to Teachable. So pop over to Teachable here. Along the left-hand side, you're just going to find domains, and this is where I created the domain here. You simply pop it in and then run the check on it to make sure that it's being redirected properly. All the other domains that I have, you can just set to redirect to your primary, so that's pretty simple. When it comes to analytics, I had my main analytics set up for Mamapreneur, so we can go there. And what you're simply going to do is you're going to locate your tracking ID. I'm just going to copy that. And then down in the settings for Teachable, integrations, and then there's a spot to put it in. So I'm going to replace that one because I had it set up as a completely different property before, but I'm amalgamating them now with the subdomains to track across. Click save. And that's really it. So right now, there's nothing necessarily that you need to tweak with within the two systems. It's going to track because you've applied the Google Analytics ID to both the subdomain and your main domain. The one thing I would say is that I like to kind of branch things out. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you what I mean. So when you're looking at your website data, you can break things down, and then these are views. So it's still pulling all of the information, but if you did want to look at your main domains data by itself versus your teachables domains or your subdomains information by itself, I would recommend doing that in the view. So I have the all website data, which is capturing everything wherever that Google Analytics ID has been placed. I've applied a view which is only looking at the root. And then you can also then apply a view for the Teachable account. So I'm going to show you how to do that quickly. Okay, so here we are in the admin section of Google Analytics. And simply what you're going to do is you're going to go under the views column here, and you're going to create new view. We're going to call this Teachable Data Only. I am in Eastern. I'm in Canada, so let's mention that. Okay, then it's created, so you can go into your view settings. I'm going to change this to be Academy. Okay, so we'll save. Okay, so now that the view has been created, you're going to go under filters. Add a filter. We're going to do track only subdomain, custom, host name. And then in this case, it's going to be the first part of your subdomain / dot your main part of your domain / dot the suffix. We want this to actually be included, sorry. Try that again. Okay, want to make sure it's included, host name, and then the fill pattern. Save. Okay. Now we want to make sure that we don't have the reports being skewed, and what will end up happening is if we don't do the next step, the subdomain will kind of appear as like a self-referral. So what you need to do is I'm going to go back. And then we're going to look at tracking info, referral exclusion list, and then we're going to add our subdomain to this. So great. So there we have it. We've set up the subdomain, we've applied the Google tracking code, and we've set up within Google Analytics how to separate the two instances to dive into information separately. And we've also managed to mark things on an exclusion list so that you don't get kind of skewing on your reports for self-referrals. And now you'll be up and running. I don't have the details to show you because I'm actually just setting this up on my account for the first time. And I don't like to show my clients' work on the YouTube videos, but let things run for, a week or two, check back on it, make sure that everything is tracking correctly and that all the information is there. And then feel free to poke around at the reports and everything like that. If you want access to a free Data Studio report, the link is in the description of the video below. So click on that and you can get a free Data Studio report, which you can connect to your Google Analytics and get up and running with some pretty darn fancy reports. And thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below. All right, until next time.